Do you need a self-storage management company? That's the question.
I'm Jim Ross. He's Matt VanHorn, and this is 3 Mile Domination, where we talk about anything and everything regarding the world of self-storage.
Okay, thanks for joining us. This is 3 Mile Domination Quick Hit. I'm Jim Ross. What's going on, Matt?
Not much. How are you?
Good. Had a busy week.
Oh, always.
Good. That's what we live for.
Yep.
And let's just jump right in here. I want to talk about, again, what we've had a lot of experience with, and that's third-party management.
Yeah.
So
No,
yeah.
I mean, we had a number of people come up and talk to us about that. Specifically, I was just at the ISS show. Now we're going back about a month or so.
Yeah.
And a little more than that. And there was a lot. I mean, it was probably the busiest show I had been speaking at in years.
Well, it's just, the development's going crazy right now. So it's kind of funny, the little cycles that it goes through. It kind of goes ups and downs, and right now we're in that time frame where everyone seems to be building.
Yeah, we were in the acquisition cycle here for the last few years, thanks to the Federal Reserve for artificially keeping interest rates down and causing the massive acquisition spree. But now we're moving out of that now, and we're going into a development phase. And this time around, I mean, we all know what happened in, 04, 05. What happens this time? Who knows? Will it be as much? Will the money be as easy to get? We don't know, but we certainly know what happens after this phase, which is you have more competitors on your street, and now you're fighting with people, and it's not so easy to raise rents and have people take it like we can right now, where I've seen places doing it 10, 12% a year. I mean, we couldn't do that 5 or 6 years ago and 7 years ago. Now we can. And, so now we got to start what I call, economically sandbagging your property for what's coming down the pipe, not so much for what it is right now.
Well, but with that in mind, sure we got some owners, operators that are thinking of, management. If it's in their best interest to either, manage it themselves or to have a third party come in and manage that property for them. So I want to delve into, some topics on that and kind of break down, well, is it a good choice to go for a third-party management, and if so, what to be looking for in a management company?
No, sure. I think it depends on your situation. I really do. I don't think it is for everybody. I think there are owners out there and you know who you are, that are listening to this, that cannot give up enough control to have it be a successful relationship. I think it also comes down to dynamics of the people. Do you get along with the company? Do you like working with them? Do they get you what you want when you want it? And with that, are your requests reasonable, or are you giving enough time to get those things? I think there's a lot of dynamics that just go outside of even the financial dynamic that really make or break whether these type of relationships work. If you find a company that you work really well with, and not everything is going to go 100% correct all the time. It just doesn't happen that way. We all know that, being in business. But if you can hit 90% or 80, or 95% of your targets most of the time, you like the people, they get you what you need. You're willing to let them do their job. You're open to listening, but you will fact check what they tell you. I think overall it can be a great relationship.
Yeah. So if that owner, he's been sitting down and evaluating, himself and knowing, okay, it's something I want to bring in this relationship, is to have a management company come in, help me operate my site, make sure I'm on the right track. And they've made that decision for a management company.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go into, some items, what they need to be looking for when they are, interviewing for a management company and assessing who is the best fit for them. And to me, I think first off, and the easiest thing is, what is that company's experience? Who's going to be like a regional manager for that site? What is their experience in the self-storage industry, first and foremost?
No, I agree with you on that. There's a lot of people out there during the last real estate crisis, and I remember specifically, it was kind of like in Florida when we had that year where we had a few hurricanes come through. I think it was sometime in the early mid-2000s, something like that. I think it was like '06. And then all of a sudden, everybody popped up and they were a roofer. It was unbelievable. There were roofing signs all over the place. Your next door neighbor who couldn't hammer a nail straight was all of a sudden a roofer. And that's what happened down here. And a lot of people got taken advantage of. And I saw the same type of correlation happen during the last real estate cycle the development cycle and then the bust cycle, where all of a sudden there was these players here that were management companies. Never managed storage before in their life, but now they're all management companies. It's the same kind of thing. It's the need or the necessity breeds people and it breeds this type of atmosphere where now all the people are going to get into it because they don't think it's that big of a deal. And it is. And managing storage is a very different real estate asset. It's different from managing apartment complexes. It's different from managing office complexes. It's different from managing RV parks and mobile home parks. And I say this because I've done almost all of those except apartment complexes. Yep. It's very different. You know, the laws, the verbiage, the nuances are all completely different. So last time around, people were in here saying, oh, yeah, we know how to do that. If we know how to manage this, we know how to manage that. No, you don't. No, you don't necessarily know how the lien proceeding works. You don't necessarily know what a good self-storage lease is. I had somebody call, I'm part of the Florida Self-Storage Association I'm going back about a year. Yeah. I had somebody actually call about wanting to do a lease. And this is somebody who was a new owner, just getting into it. Again, probably read in the Wall Street Journal that self-storage was a great thing and I'm going to get into it. Sure. Wanted to use a lease off the shelf at Office Depot. Okay,
I remember you calling me about that.
Right? Yeah, they can't even deliver your pens most of the time on time. Why do you're gonna go get a lease to fill in? You know, you're not a lawyer unless you are. You're not an accountant unless you are. We just went through some of this during my speech at ISS. About a little over a month ago. You guys aren't lawyers unless you are. You're not accountants unless you are. You're not plumbers unless you are. You're not electricians unless you are. Hire people that know what they're doing. Now, that doesn't mean if you hire a management company and let's say 24 months down the road, you've got how it works, you know how it is, and then you want to hire a consultant to come in and help you. That's a plausible scenario.
Yeah.
But in general, it's really just finding the experienced people, realizing that a lot of the management companies will not necessarily even be in your state, but they still know how to manage them. All of the software is remote now. People travel. I travel to places, and we get the job done. But when you're looking, you just want to find the management company that fits your property, and then be cognizant of what it's going to cost to manage the property. So if you have a property with 25 units or 50 units, and you've got 5,000 square feet or whatever it is, odds are that's not a big enough property to bring in professional management for because it's not worth the time of the management company because there are certain time requirements that it takes to manage a property like that, and it's not worth it for you on the expense requirements. Yeah. So that's really what it is. I mean, you do some research, call some people, and find out which ones know what they're talking about and which ones don't.
And speaking on the experience level, try to get a little more drilled down here on what kind of checklist and checklist boxes when we're looking at experience. What do they have in this management sector? Have they? Again, we'll talk for me and you specifically because hey, we've been there, done that. But
right.
Have they managed a property themselves, or do they just pluck that regional manager from a help wanted ad and they seemed like they're a good fit? No, have they had experience in the industry? So again, this is like me and you, and we started. What's it been now? Jeez,
12, I think it's been 16 years.
15 years. Yeah, it's been wow.
16, 17 years, yeah. We grew up in this.
We're old.
I know.
We're old. But yeah, I was 19, 20. That was my first gig as a manager for years. And this was back in the Extra Space days when they had like under a dozen portfolio here in Utah. So that's crazy to think back at how long it's been.
I think I started at 22.
Yeah,
I think.
Yep. Yeah, we were both kind of around the same time.
Right around that. Right around. I mean, right after, not too long after high school. Well, I was in college. I know I started in it. That was my first facility. Yeah. But yeah, it's exactly what you're just saying. It's what properties have they managed? What other things do they have? Have they owned? Do they know about acquisitions? Have they helped develop? What is their portfolio and the staff that they have? Do they what kind of management report will they give you? Those kind of things are on there. Do they have any referrals? Do they have any other owners that will vouch for what they've done?
What's their track record?
Yeah, what's the track record?
Yeah.
How long have they been in business? I mean, the things that you would normally look on any other person that you would hire for any other thing.
Yeah, exactly. Just because they're hanging their shingle out for business that they're a manager company doesn't make them legit.
No.
that's the bottom line.
Yeah, same thing with roofers like down here in Hurricane.
Yep,
just
yep.
because they say you're a roofer doesn't mean you are.
Yep.
So I think that,
vet them
people
out.
just need...
That's just it. Just vet them out. And it's just almost like when you're, like what we do. When we have a vendor coming in, we have a big project that we're going to be, bringing in, costs money. What do? You get multiple bids.
Right.
Same thing should be done here. You should be interviewing multiple manager companies. They're not all the same. Just because they say they're a manager company and they're going to we're the best in your area and we promise this, just no. Interview them. Take your time. Interview each one. And hopefully with these, the series that we're going to be pumping out here with these videos, you'll be armed with some of the content and some of the questions that you should be asking.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's real simple to get involved with a company you should not be. So again, use the resources that are out there. Use your self-storage, your state self-storage association. I was president down here in Florida last year. We've done some great things. We help our owners down here, point them in the right direction, and we all help. Like I said, it's not towards I'm president of Florida Self-Storage Association, so now I'm going to get everybody. No, I mean we have a whole board of people that are in operations and marketing and insurance and stuff that we can send people to that will help. And then, above and beyond that, a lot of times people get into self-storage. They have friends that are in it already. Talk to them. Find out what their experience is. You can go to Inside Self-Storage, their website. They have plenty of a list of vendors on there, or read the articles, see who writes them. Those kind of things. The people that have experience that you see their name out there. And like I said, I'm not talking about just having a nice web page and, being on Facebook. I'm talking about people who have real industry experience.
Yep, exactly. Great. So yeah, I think once they find that list of who they want interested in talking to and vetting them out, let's arm them with some great questions to ask. So we'll carry on this series as we go on. So let's wrap this one up.
Sure, I think some of the things that we've already talked about, experience level and everything else, but then I would even go deeper than that because that's not far enough. You want to know what is their plan. Within reason, obviously, because again, things change once you get on site. You see somebody did something stupid or something like that, and you have to fix it. It's not always doing that. But what is their general plan to take you from point A, to point D? What is it that you want?
Let's go into that next.
What is it that you want? Do you have a certain rate of return that you want that the management company has to hit, including their fees and everything else? So you need to be very upfront on what you want, because saying I want 90% occupancy is not an answer. Because I can get you 90% occupancy and cut your rates in half.
Yep.
That's not an answer.
Great. Okay, that's perfect. Hold that thought. We'll do that one. We'll go into that next. So, all right. Thanks for watching this episode, and keep on to the next one. We'll be having these kind of videos and this kind of content coming out consistently to help owners, operators, and again, that's what me and Matt do. Is everything in self-storage. It's kind of anything and everything goes when it comes to this. So if it has to do with self-storage, we'll be talking about it. So let's go into that next. So take care. We'll talk to you soon, Matt.
You too.
See ya.
Go to 3miledomination.com/call to schedule your free 30-minute marketing tune-up call. I'll give you solid advice you can easily implement with or without us. Until next time.